What's up guys, my name's Luke and welcome back to Motion Design. So sorry I missed last week, it's just been a bit hectic with work, but I finally got some time to do a tutorial and I thought I'd do it on Pyro, seeing as though I haven't actually been able to mess around with Pyro. I mean, it's been out for a year, and this is the first time I'm touching it. I can't say I'm an expert in it yet, it's just kind of been me messing around with the settings in Pyro and just kind of seeing what happens. This effect that I'm going to teach you guys here today, it kind of came about by accident. I was just messing around with things and I accidentally came across something. I was like, oh, this looks super cool, and I thought I'd do a tutorial on it. I do feel like I need to shout out someone though. There is this guy called Pyro. Go support him. He did this really cool render, which is very similar to what we're going to be doing today. Yeah, wasn't intentional, but I found it after the fact, and so yeah, check him out. He did this really cool work. I guess he got to it first, but yeah. And then if you want a little bit more of an in-depth tutorial, I'll check out the School of Motion tutorial over here. They helped me a lot. If it wasn't for them, I would not have figured out how to make the smoke actual geometry. So yeah, if you want a little bit more of an in-depth tutorial, go check out them. But yeah, so what we're going to be doing today, let me show you the project file. It is a pretty cool project file. Yeah, if you guys are interested in the project file, it will be up on my Patreon. I don't know if you guys have ever used Takes before. Maybe I'm just, I've been living under a rock or something, but Takes is a game changer. So yeah, I've created these 5 different kind of looks to it. We got this one, which is more dramatic. We got this look over here, which is like glass, which is really cool. We got this one over here where it's like gold, and you'll see that we have these gold highlights on all the crevices. It looks really cool, especially in motion. We got this one over here, which is just this metallic pink, which is quite nice. We got this one, I don't know, this one's very mediocre. I just like the actual texturing of it. I just don't like the background. I think it's very nice. It's definitely the weakest out of all of them. And then we got this one, which I think is my favorite, which is more of this kind of fabric-y feel to it. It's, yeah, I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, if you guys are interested in the project file, they'll be up on Patreon, and all 5 of these looks will be here, and they're all procedurally generated. So yeah, you can apply this to other stuff and you'll get a similar result. But yeah, without any further ado, let's get into the tutorial. Cool, so let's close this down for now. I'm going to be using the skull from Ridge. If you guys want to follow along exactly, download it, or use something else, or just use one of these other skulls, but you can get some pretty cool results, and then it's still different to mine. Let's go and bring this out. We don't need that. Let's go and grab a human over here. I'm just going to rotate the skull face this way, just because the Cinema 4D default light kind of comes from this direction. And just now when we're messing with the smoke, it'll help us see better. Let's go and increase the scale over here. Something like that I think should be fine. And then let's just rotate it down. Let's just bring it back a little bit so it's more in the center, something like that. I think that's perfect. Cool. So we got our skull over here. And let's go right-click Simulations and Pyro. Now when you press play, we got a cool fire simulation, which is cool, but we're not really trying to make fire over here. We're kind of trying to create, I don't know, smoky blobs. But yeah, you can kind of see originally when we press play that it's only showing up in certain bits. We can fix this just by turning up the object fidelity. We can also have it be a little bit closer to the actual object by turning down our surface thickness. Let's set that to about 3, and let's go press play. And now look, we have a much better simulation like that. But now we have smoke rising up, which is not really what we want. Let's go Command D. Let's go and turn off our gravity. You'll also notice that there's a bunch of movement in the smoke. We don't want that. The reason that's happening is because in this extra forces over here. Let's turn all of these off, and make sure you click down this turbulence and also turn this off. And now when you press play, it appears, which is perfect. So another thing that's quite important, might as well just turn these off because we're not really going to be working with combustion, is this dissipation. So the dissipation, from what I understand, I can't say I fully understand all the Pyro stuff yet, this is just been from messing around, is that dissipation is kind of with the smoke, and as the smoke goes, it disappears over time. We don't want it to disappear over time, we kind of want it to stay forever, so we're going to turn all of these to 0. Cool. let's go back into our tag and let's go to temperature. I turn that off. And now we should have smoke that's appearing on our skull over here. Cool, at the moment the voxels are pretty big, so let's go Command D again, and let's turn this down for 2 for now. I'm going to keep it at 2 for this tutorial, but yeah, when it comes to like the rendering stage, maybe turn it down to 1, you get a little bit more detail. I mean, like we had to go 1 now, you'll see that exactly it's saying that's a heavy scene, but it'll look better, so, you know, do that if you want to, but I think for now I'm just going to keep it like this. Cool, so we don't need it to be emitting all the time, so let's go to around frame 5, set a keyframe, and let's go here and turn that off. So now it's only going to emit smoke for the first 5 frames, and then it's going to stop. Cool, so now we got that, which is perfect. Let's go and grab a sphere, set this to about 20, let's right click, go simulations, collider, and let's increase our timeline. And let's press play. And now, look at that. How cool is that? Yeah, when I initially made this, I sat here for like 20 minutes just hitting this round. Let's turn off our original geometry so you can actually see the deformation of our object over here. I mean, the fact that we can do this in real time is kind of crazy. Like this new Cinema 4D simulation engine, whether it's like Cloth or Pyro or now Rigid Body, it's incredible. I don't know if in Cinema 4D 2024 it's changed much. I haven't been able to update yet since I'm working on a bunch of projects and I don't want to risk upgrading yet and then have things not work. So yeah, when it's done, then I'll mess with the rigid bodies and all that stuff. But yeah, there might be cooler new things with Pyro. But yeah, this is the basics of this. Let's go and add some geometry onto this. So let's just press play for now. Let's just get some movement into our scene, so like that should be cool. Let's go over here and let's add a volume measure onto our object. Let's set this to 1. So you'll notice that nothing's happening. All we need to do is turn on our density over here, and look at that. We have geometry. That's super cool. So you can do it where, you know, you add it into a volume builder. Set this to like 2. So that we actually have like that original geo, because then you can add in like, you know, a smooth over here if you want to do that. But I felt like I got better results just by doing it this way. And just by increasing the voxel size, you can get a little bit more, decreasing the voxel size, sorry. You can get a little bit more detail with this. And now we can continue pressing play and continue messing around with this. I mean, look at that. How cool is this? Yeah, it's kind of crazy how powerful these things are getting. The fact that you can kind of do this like almost real time, it's so cool. Cool, so now what you can do is we want to record our movements up here. So there's a few ways you can go about this. I mean, you can go and manually keyframe your collider over here to do different things to create the kind of look that you're going for. You could do it with the spline and then do a line spline. But I felt like I got the best results just by doing what I'm doing now, of just messing around with our collider body over here. So if we want to record this, we can do that pretty easily. There's this thing called cappuccino. So let's go all the way back to frame 0 and let's search for cup. Yeah, cappuccino. And what this does is that this just records your mouse movements. It is super useful, and yeah, so all you need to do is press start real time. Nothing will happen until we make a move. And now it's recording. I mean, you can see the keyframes that are being set. So now you can go in here and kind of create the look that you're going for. So I don't really have anything in mind. I'm just gonna randomly move the mouse around to get something that I think looks cool. And some more down in this direction. And then maybe like cool. So that does happen sometimes. I think what happens is that after a certain amount of time, it kind of crashes and then it stops. But I think for us, this is perfect. And I'm going to press play again. All of that will kind of stay. And now look, we can replay the animation. This isn't cached, but the actual keyframes are all there. So yeah, let's go and just do a little basics on texturing with this. Cool. So with this, I would recommend actually going into a Pyro output over here and actually going and caching the scene. They can be pretty big. I think when I initially cached it, it was around like 15 gigabytes. So yeah, the caches can be pretty big, but it makes playback a lot easier and helps with texturing, because then you can like jump to different frames to actually see what things look like. So I'm not going to go too in depth with the texturing, seeing as though I provided a bunch of textures in the project file on Patreon. But I'll show you guys just the basics of how I created a cool look, and then you guys can create some cool looks too. So let's go and just add a dome light for now. Just gonna have all white. Let's go create redshift material, and let's apply this to our mesher over here. Just a quick thing, you don't have to do it with the mesher. I mean, you can do it with smoke. I think all you need to do then is just go and add a volume, and then apply this onto our Pyro volume over here, and something should show up. Let's see, let's go presets, Pyro, density, and then there we go. And now we can bring these and clamp these this ramp over here, and you can get smoke. But you know, I don't really want smoke because you know everyone does smoke, so I wanted to do something a little bit different. But yeah, cool. So in our material over here, we're going to create that white one that I showed you, where it's white and has these kind of like gold highlights, just because I thought that was a pretty cool one. And yeah, let's go and let's search for a material blender. Let's put this in here, and let's put that over there. And let's go and make this one white, and make this one kind of like gold like that. And let's turn up the metalness, because metalness, gold is metallic. Cool. So now what we want to do is we only want the gold to show up on the lower edges over here. So we can do that with a curvature node. Let's drop that into our material blender. And now you can already see that it is showing up in little parts, but we want it to be a little bit better. So let's increase the radius. Is that 0.4? Solve it, or was it decrease in the radius? 0.1, 0.1, and increase in the radius. Actually, hold on. If we keep that as normal, we can add a ramp. Put this ramp over here. And let's just clamp down these values. Cool. And so now you can see what's happening is that we're getting these nice gold highlights only on the places where there's curves. Another way that you can do this, depending on the look that you're going for, is that we can search for a Fresnel. So, Fresnel over here, let's go and put that into our material color. Now, instead of this being on all the curves, you can see what's going to happen is that it's going to only happen on all the outsides of it, which could give you a cooler look. Same thing, you have to grab a ramp, drop the ramp in here. We could clamp these values. And now, let me like that. Now you can see it's happening on all the outsides of it. I kind of preferred this look over here. I just wanted to show you guys both looks so that you guys can try different looks and kind of create something that you like. At the moment, this is cool, but we can make it cooler. Let's make this a little bit darker of gold. It's metallic. Let's turn the metallic all the way up. That is cool. We want something that is reflective. And then let's go with our original white material over here. Let's go and search for a max on noise and a bump node. Let's take noise, pipe it into, oh, that is cool. I did not mean to do that. That is very cool. That is very unintentional. I like that a lot. Okay, well now I need to go and experiment with this because that is so cool. But okay, before I get distracted, I'll do that later. Let's bump that into the bump map and let's create a more of like a stone type of material. Let's just find a noise that we like. Actually, I think this is perfect. let's just go to input, make this 2.5, sorry, so we have a little bit more bump to it, and now you can see that we're getting these really nice bumps over there. Let's go and make this roughness, increase the roughness over here, kind of so that we have like these two opposing forces, like kind of rocky, bumpy type of material, and then we got our gold material over here. So yeah, that's kind of the basics of how I'd go about texturing something like that. Obviously you guys can go and be a little bit more in depth, but I just want to show you guys the basics of how to texture something like this. Yeah, if you guys are interested in the project file, I'll have that up on Patreon. And in the project file, you know, I showed it earlier, but show it again, since I think it's cool. We got another one in here, which is also, I mean, all of these procedural, which I thought was really cool. Just creating these like really, I don't know, cool different looks just by messing around with different materials. I think, yeah, so this over here is kind of what I just showed you how to make material-wise is kind of what I ended up doing. You can see over here that it's pretty much the exact same setup of just a bump that's going into our material over here, and then I've got this gold plugged in over here, and then again I've just got my curvature node that's only looking at all of the curves, and it's really nice, works nicely with this because unfortunately I couldn't figure out a way to make it smooth, but you'll notice that when we press play, we get all these kind of like bumps. I mean, you can kind of tell where all the voxels are. You can see every individual voxel. So with texturing it like this, I was kind of able to avoid that. I couldn't properly figure out how to make this smooth. If you guys know how to make it smooth, yeah, let me know in the comments, and I'm sure there's other people who would be interested. So yeah, put down in the comments. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. And yeah, again, project files up on Patreon. But hopefully I'll see you guys next week. I hope you have a wonderful week. Peace.